Heihachi, in short, super strong defense, very committal, doesn't really play small Tekken a lot, wants to land a huge electric because all your other buttons are so risky, like they have no tracking. So your electric means a lot to Heihachi. And also just the fact that you get so much damage out of it. What's up guys, TheMainManSWE here, hoping you're all doing awesome as always, and it's my pleasure to give you a Heihachi guide for Tekken 8. I absolutely love this character. I've never had more fun playing a Tekken character than I have with Tekken 8 Heihachi, and I really mean that. I think he's a masterpiece. He's very balanced right out of the gates, and he has super clear strengths and super clear weaknesses. He's sort of a glass cannon in that he's super committal and unsafe on most of his attacks. Like, they have no tracking, they're very bad on whiff, they feel very clunky, but when it does work out and you win an interaction, it leads to a million damage. Like, in a nutshell, I feel like back 4 symbolizes the character. If it whiffs, Heihachi is dead. If he counter hits you with it, you're dead. I can show you a combo here. He's very high execution. Micro dash. Boom. You wanna wake up, heat smash, guard break, guaranteed wall splat, flash punch. Li Xiaolan is no more, he is dead. I just won 2 interactions there, right, and he is just gone. This might look busted, like his damage is absolutely S tier, but it's just that he compensates by having terrible small Tekken. That's the poking department. That's actually his daughter Reina now. If you want to play a rushdown character, like say Stance rushdown or rushdown with poking, you will play his daughter now. She has much better pitbull mechanics, aggro character, frames and properties on her poking. That is just not Heihachi anymore. That used to be Heihachi. Now he retains the part of his identity that is heavy fucking damage, big fucking launches. You know, 1-1 was made -5. This used to be -1. His down for 1 used to be -1. They made it -5. This really cripples your small tech and your poking and makes you feel just that much more sluggish and like, stuck in mud. That's not Heihachi anymore. So now it's big swings, kablam, you know, a normal hit just knocks you down, a counter hit, I showed you, Lee dies, right? Or electric, kablam, up in the air, you die. Very mid-tier character, he's so risky, I don't think you're gonna see him a lot in tournaments. But the most defensively potent character, which I love. You know, in Tekken 8 you've seen a lot of characters who have tremendous offense. Here comes a character with SS plus tier defense. Are you -10? Hit confirmable, wall splat. Are you -12? Bam! Into a Moscow Tech. So in beginner and intermediate, if anyone does a hop kick, anyone's -12, do this, into demon uppercut, and it's gonna be pretty much guaranteed. Because now what Lee did there, the AI dummy, is that he's doing a quick stand, which is stand up. Most people are gonna hold back, wake up backwards, and I swear to God, you're gonna get this guaranteed at -12 for 56 damage. This is called a Moscow Tech, I have videos on it. Most people at my ranks, they know to stand up, and then you mix them up for also 56 damage. You expect that stand up, you do Rao Thrust, forward 1 + 2, and it's 56 damage. Like, no other character does shit like this. And then of course he can go ultimate form, right? And then it's even more potent. You collect your tokens. There you can go final boss mode for 1 round. He actually has a built-in Estus mechanic. He can heal himself with these just frames, Rashomon and Muso Tech. You can see my health bar here, right? Do you see this? So this is a little bit like Yoshi, but not as busted. Yoshi can always recover health, even if he doesn't have recoverable health. He can recover permanent health. With Heihachi, your health bar has to be gray. You need recoverable health. But if you have that, Rashomon and Muso Tekken, if placed well, can really make it hurt for your opponent. You gain a lot of health. There's sort of a health transaction, and your opponent on hit or block, you know, they take damage. be it heavy chip. So that's also a really cool mechanic. Heihachi, in short, super strong defense, very committal, doesn't really play small Tekken a lot, wants to land a huge electric. He is very, very, very execution heavy, more so than other Mishimas, because you have a perfect electric now at 13 frames, just like Kazuya and Reina, even Devil Jin has it now. But it's the most important for you because all your other buttons are so risky, like we have no tracking. So your electric means a lot to Heihachi. And also just the fact that you get so much damage out of it. More than the other Mishimas. Get a really good electric if you want to play this character. And you also want to practice wave dashing. It's super important because when you wave dash, you realign with your opponent. And this adds tracking, obviously, to these moves that have no tracking. You have to understand with Heihachi that tracking will always be a big problem for you. All of this stuff is stepped. But let's just talk about your neutral playing Heihachi. Hopefully you have decent enough movement, because you need to move around, create space, and then you use electric as keep out if they try and run in. It's also good for pressure, right? +5 on block, deals some chip damage. It's a very strong move in general. Like if someone ducks this, it's very hard to whiff punish on electric. So get a really good electric playing Heihachi. But then outside of that, you're not in Tekken 7 anymore really, where you could just spam demon uppercuts because it tracked so much, it had so much pushback on block. But the reality in Tekken 8 is that it's super nerfed. It has no tracking anymore, super steppable, less pushback on block. Pretty much every character can launch you for this now. Leave air would do an acid storm and up in the air you go. Play super careful, do not overextend. You want your opponent to overextend. Tag them with an electric or a very well placed back four. So how I play the neutral is that I use electric. If I'm not using an electric, I try and move in, dash in. Again, I don't use a big swing, I move in, and then I try to jab check, and then I apply my play style, which is gonna be check like this, and try to hit score a back four. Check him, and then back four counter hit. I think this is his best small Tekken move. Jab into back two. This string is still super strong. Like, again, jab 10 frames, very good, +1 on block. And then you can add back two. And it's just a very good string. It's not a natural, but it's high mid, just in case they duck. And the second hit also has surprisingly a lot of tracking to like both sides. Tracks quite a bit and is only -2 on block. But this is what I check people with. And then you can mix up by holding down and going into Wind God Kame. And you can apply a mix up from there. I'm gonna go into that in a second, but first off, also with the neutral, tracking. Everyone is going to try and step you, and I don't recommend using Heihachi's homing moves. This is because you have this homing move, which is up forward 4. It does knock down like this into a stomp, and then you can apply a wake up mix up. But the problem is, on block, this is -9, and you're right next to them. This is not a good situation for you, albeit safe though, but you completely lose your turn. But the biggest problem is that when you commit to this, it's 24 frames where you are airborne. If your opponent does a jab, a down forward 1, or even a goddamn heat burst, which has a super fast startup, you are getting comboed. Your other homing move is back 3, which has no range. Like, no range. And you gotta commit to get anything out of this. You have to commit to dangerous second hits, which put you at risk. So I just don't use these homing moves. So instead what I do is I use other neutral buttons, like back 4 and forward 3, to track different directions. Typically what people do against Mishimas is that they've trained to like always sidewalk left against Mishimas. So here, pay attention to your opponent, and back 4 will fully track to that side. Will fully track to that side. So notice, okay, he likes stepping left, blam, shut that down real quick, right? If he likes to step to the right instead, you have this button, forward 3, which will track fully to that side, and is also one of your go-to mids anyway. And on hit, you have to learn, on forward 3, you'll do it into Wind God Kame, and you gotta learn to confirm into 1-2. If it's blocked, you're not going to do this. But if it hits... Oh god. Wow, Lee can... I thought Lee had subpar stepping. Lee is surprisingly decent sidestep here, I have to say. Never seen that before. Well done, Lee Shaolan. Excellent. But so forward 3 will track sidewalk right, sidestep right. And forward 3 in general is one of your key buttons. Your stance transitions into Wind Guard Kemei are very important. And that is your most important stance that you will use the most. Mostly with 1 back 2, which is, in my opinion, one of your absolute best buttons and attacks, 1 back 2. Also forward 3, for that tracking reason I told you about just now. But also because it's a very long range mid. Like, very long range. And if you go into stance, on hit, you can confirm 1-2. A lot of people like to do this into 1-1 and take their heat engager. I stay away from heat engagers in general. You know, you'll see Joka, for example. Anytime he lands like forward 1+2 Chrome Dome at -12, he'll do Iron Hand to go heat engager. And I'm like, in my opinion, like, don't do that. It's because Heat Burst is so strong. It is so strong. And especially for Heihachi, I showed you before how it just extends your combos into monster stuff. Absolute monster stuff. But also it gives you a super nice situation if you've saved it for the wall. Like for example here, you have no idea how much success I've had with this. You make sure you do it like this, they respect it. And I get this either on block or on hit. On hit it's +2, on block it's +1, and here my jab is uninterruptible. I just do 1-1 like this, and I'm -5, right? But most people actually try to challenge there, and this hits, and you just hit confirm. And you get all of this, right? So that's also a super nice thing about Heat Burst with Heihachi, that you actually threaten a hit confirmable 10-frame wall splat. That is super good. Like, that's S tier stuff. But also, Heat Burst is so important, like, in top level play. Oh, I feel threatened, I'm being rushed down. Get off me. Your best get off me button. But also your best comeback button. Because when you are in heat like this, it's even stronger, the amount of health you regain. Recoverable health on hit or on block. And this stacks with your Estus. Look at my health bar. Look at both of our health bars. His is depleting and mine is just glug 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 glug. You have no idea how many times I've taken such a beating. I get back up to my feet, pop this shit, and then a couple of Rashomons, a couple of Muso Tekken, and like, they've lost a ton of health on block with the chip, and I've gained so much health. Heat Burst, really important. So in my opinion, forward 3 here, take the 1-2. Don't go 1-1. Save your Heat Burst. And remember, every round, it is so important with Heihachi that you Heat Burst. You need that token, right? You need that token. And then next round, what do? You make sure before you KO your opponent, before you get KO'd, pop it again. Second token. Because by the third round, you want to have the option to go into ultimate Heihachi, right? This one. Boom! Where you're so unbelievably enhanced, right? More on that later, but very important. So again, 1 back 2. Try to be very unpredictable. Jab, jab, jab back 2, do nothing. Jab back 2, stance. Like Lydia, you're not forced to go into stance. You choose when to do it. Be unpredictable. Don't always go into stance. Down for 1. You know, you're poking. Remember that it's -5. It's just not that good on its own anymore. So a lot of people now, including me, go down for 1-1, which is mid-high. They can duck that. But a nice thing is that the second hit adds a lot of tracking to both sides. So you're very steppable, so that's super nice. And also, Muso Tekken. If you do the blue spark version, and you want to do that one, like this one, this is normal, -13. Do the blue spark. It's unnatural. You hold the triangle, so right punch, for a little bit and let go. You'll figure out the timing. Muso Tekken is really good. It's unnatural for 33 damage, knocks down. It's also safe on block, and it heals you if you have recoverable health. On hit and on block. Note that when you do this, the charge up, they can interrupt you in between or sidestep. So you have to be a little bit careful, but it's a really good neutral button. and so is Rashomon. I love this move. It's very committal though and risky at 29 frames commitment, and it has no tracking whatsoever. But I start throwing this especially at the wall because it will wall splat on hit. And on block, you know, that's +6. If I do this on block into a Muso Tekken, you can't sidestep. You don't have time. Lily can step, but pretty much no one else. The only way they can interrupt this is with a power crush. Otherwise, they have to respect it. And if you think we're gonna power crush, you can jab check here with 1-1, and it will fuck up their power crush and kill them. And you can hit confirm into a wall splat. This sequence actually at the wall is really strong because it's also a double heal. If you get the Rashomon on block into Muso Tekken, it's a double heal for you if you have recoverable health. If it hits, oh sorry about that. If you hit it, like they don't block, you still commit. And that was a double heal. On hit, because I can bound now with Muso Tekken instead of doing back 1-4. I should mention that you completely change your combo routes if you have recoverable health. If I don't have recoverable health, like it's the first ready fight and I get a launch, I haven't taken damage, I'll do max damage route. Fuck it, I'll just go for the fucking big boy stuff, right? We're gonna blow up the world, our combos are so big. But if I have recoverable health, it's actually in my interest to change my combo route and involve Muso Tekken and Rashomon as much as I can in my combo because they heal me, right? Even in combos, not only on standing hits like this, be it on block or hit, but look at my health bar now. If I do my normal route, you see I'm still healing a bit, right? I'm still healing a bit. Nice. But what happens if I do a combo that's designated to heal me instead? I'll do this route, which I recommend. Look at my health bar. I mean, you see the difference, right? So this is something for you to keep in mind. Like, you can get gigantic comebacks due to this. Rashomon has 4 different iterations. Normal Rashomon, back 2, which is +7 on hit, +2 on block. Sinful Pants, a very well-known Heihachi player, has a very nice YouTube community. You can check him out. But he has a really cool setup for back 2 that I immediately stole, so I want to give him credit here. It's so cool. It's +2 on block. The normal Rashomon, so that's the tier 1 of the move. There are 4 versions, remember this. They block that and they immediately want to throw a jab, which a lot of people do. They want to jab check me. So he's jab checking now, right? This is guaranteed. Holy shit, right? What happens? At +2, Chrome Dome and Jab will trade. It's just math, right? They will trade. And now suddenly Chrome Dome, instead of a normal, it should give 14 frames. It will instead give 22 frames in crouching state. So forward 4 here is guaranteed. And you can do absolutely absurd stuff, right? Absolutely absurd stuff. So credit to Sinful Pants. And that's a lot of utility already on the first version of Rashomon. So that's really nice. That's something to play around with. Tier 2 Rashomon is the Blue Spark one. I showed you what this does before. Remember, it has no tracking, 29 frame startup. There's gold version of Rashomon, that one, new voice line, does 5 more damage and leads to you healing more and your opponent taking more chip damage. This is a true just frame. Basically how this works is that if you get the blue spark, you held too long. So hold it slightly less, and with practice, you should see the gold one every once in a while. But remember that this is a true just frame. And this is also something you can do with Muso Tekken. But I just want to stress again, like, if I splat you at the wall, say with the heat smash, and I have recoverable health, it's in my interest to not bound you with back 1-4, which I normally do. but I'll use Muso Tekken to heal. Right? So you always have to remember this. In combos, in the neutral, what these 2 attacks can do for you, because it's very, very significant, and I don't see enough Heihachis use this stuff. Another very important attack is your hell sweep. Like, your lows are atrocious in general, but the single hell sweep is super important because if you do the single sweep, so that means not committing to this stuff, right? The follow-ups, it's basically homing. That's a great way of initiating offense, actually. Dash into this. And if you're sidestepping, which they typically do against Heihachi, this will track. And now you get a +8 situation. And again, +8 for a reason. And this is because back 4 now will trade if you do a jab. And that trade, let me just tell you, is very bad for your opponent. Because they're basically going to die. Their stun is so long that you'll recover from that jab trade and kill them with your combo. You have plenty of time to do it. So here they have to respect you. This, in my opinion, is your best low. You have a low poke in damage free. Has very poor reach. Very poor reach. No evasion. You die on any trade. It does like no damage. Does nothing on counter hit. And on block, it is -13. Damage 4 is another quicker low poke. 12 frame startup, -4 on hit. On block, it's -15, so this gets launched. Then the other lows were nerfed, going from Tekken 7. Damage 2 is still launch punishable at -18. Don't spam this move. In Tekken 7, you could spam Damage 2 and Demon Uppercut as a 50-50. Both of these are so nerfed in this game. Like Demon Uppercut, you gotta be super careful in the neutral about it. But you can try it once in a while and see how your opponent reacts. But remember, it has no tracking and it has no pushback. On block. So you get launched for this move now on block. But a nice thing is that it's very long range, launches on normal hit. In Oki situations, it flips them on the ground, which is very nice. And it has some evasion. Like when Heihachi does this, he actually ducks down significantly. He can even go under Dragonov's Wild Running 2, believe it or not. So there's some evasion here. So if someone's jab checking you, you can actually sometimes fuck them up by throwing something like this. But remember, it's very risky. Don't spam it. Stick to electric, move, small Tekken, lock them down, and then back 4. Try to hit that counter it and kill them. But yeah, down back 2, not that good. Launch punishable, it's quite evasive. Does some damage, but in this game you get +6 and it knocks them far away. In Tekken 7 we would have a lazy flowchart here. On hit, you'd threaten with this sweep. That will knock them down into a guaranteed Demon Uppercut, which it still does. But the problem in this game is that they added a clean hit property, so that from this range, the flowchart doesn't work. It won't trip. You have to be right next to them. So with the nerf to Damback 2 with this pushback on hit, this flowchart is gone. So yeah, Damback 2 is just, it's terrible. At 23 frames, top players can react to this as well. And you die. A neat thing about it, though, in my opinion, is that when you're close to the wall, now the pushback is not an issue. And you can threaten this mix-up. And this mix-up is actually potent at the wall, because if they expect you to do that, that's unseeable at 19 frames, you can mix with this, while setting free 1+2, which will wall splat, it's unnatural, and best of all, it's actually safe on block at -9. This 50-50 is kind of nice. And speaking of full crouch, while stunning 2 is still a great button. It's safe on block, mid, it's very evasive, it takes a large step to the left, kablam. It's a really great evasive button considering it's safe. And on counter hit, I like to do a guaranteed back 1-4, Masku Tech, right? We get back 1-4. I love that move. Used to launch in Tekken 7, but it's still a great button. And that brings us to Forward 4, and then we're gonna talk stances and heat. Forward 4, still a great button, very steppable to both sides. But, you know, it's a big win if it's blocked at +4, if it hits. +7, super nice. And if it hits someone crouching, we of course get a special stagger that is very powerful. +15, where we can do whatever we want. But we're in crouching state, so we can't electric here, it goes over their head. But you can do this. Your wall string. That's 54 damage if you blue spark it. I like doing, of course, back 1-4 here. I just love that Tech, and it's a lot of damage. You can actually forward 4 transition into Wind God Kamei, but I don't recommend this, because if this whiffs, like, and this is very steppable, forward 4 alone on whiff is terrible. Forward 4 into Wind God Kamei, your opponent has time to go to the toilet, diarrhea, take a shit, come back and fucking launch you. You're dead. I don't like this, so I stick to single forward 4 and try to link them like this. And when I get that crouch, back 1-4. But if you do commit to Wind God Kamei, you can react to this and do hidden Wind God Fist for a full launch. So that's Wind God Kamei too. For a full launch. Does scale quite a bit, but it is big damage. But so it's high risk, very high risk, high reward, but that's Heihachi in general. But I just stick to single forward 4. And also, speaking of crucial, let's see, mid buttons, forward 3 is to be used instead of Demon Uppercut most of the time. It's a mid launcher. Launches super high into huge damage, as everything does with Heihachi, and it's -3 on block. Realign to add tracking to this attack. Wave dash quickly, realign, forward 3, -3 on block, mid launcher. That is really fucking strong. Wind God Kamei is your most important stance. I access this from 1 back 2 or forward 3. And on block, these will both transition from -2 into Wind God Kamei. You will also see this when you punish something that's like -11, you know, from crouching. Just like Reina, you hold down and you go into stance and you're at +6. And this is where, of course, 15 frame startup, mid hidden electric is what it's called, will fucking launch them if they disrespect you. You are +6, this is 15, so they can't even jab, right? They explode. And it's the same on your hell sweep mix-ups, right? I mean, I gave you the single hell sweep before and how crucial it is. I should have mentioned before, if you commit to multiple sweeps, these mix-ups, you know, this 50-50, it's kind of fuzzy guardable. Like a strong player, the second sweep is faster than if you go with the mid. So a super strong player can actually react and fuzzy guard that mix-up. Single sweep, almost homing. For some reason, they made it so that if you go for multiple sweeps, a follow-up, the first sweep has no tracking. And you get stepped and you die. But it's very important to know. So when you want to mix your opponent with lows, this is your best low by far, even though it's so risky. You want to check them again. Check before you back 4. Check before you go for a big swing. Check before you do a hell sweep mix-up. Because it loses all of its tracking. But if you're far away and you dash into a single sweep, that's very viable due to now it has tracking. Do you get it? I hope you do. Hope it wasn't too convoluted. But so when you're up close and you want to go for the mix-up, most people are going to want to crouch guard because of this, right? They don't want to get launched. So you'll do this one. And then you get a +8 if they eat that. Into mix-up. That's very strong. And on block, this is of course safe. Just like a normal while standing 4, it will be -3 on block. So that's very nice, right? And of course, you can do this whole sequence. This into +6 again, Wind God Kamei. Very strong. Just remember, if you block that tsunami into stance, you're gonna eat a launcher and die, right? It's very unsafe. So in short, if this is ever hits on block for 3 here, you are unsafe. You can actually do a Jin style Zen cancel here. You do 4-3 Wind God Kamei, hold down 4 to go into a crouch dash, and then hold back to guard. Cool, right? Cool cancel, right? No matter how quickly you do that, you can always be jab checked. So as soon as this is blocked, again, forward 3 on hit, I take this, right? If this happens close to the wall, you get a guaranteed demon uppercut. That's guaranteed. Super nice, right? And if you're right next to the wall, this will of course wall splat. Super nice, right? But if it's blocked, you're not gonna do 1-2 because you only do that on reaction to a hit. And now it's a mind game. Here, it's just a mind game. You're going to Wind God Kamei, they might jab, right? And that will fuck you up. Like, if you just stand in stance here, you will get fucked up by jabs. And a throw can connect on you. But so, what can you do here? If you think we're gonna jab, this will kill them. We can demonstrate what this looks like. If they try to do a jab or a throw, they get blown up here. Because of Wind God Kame 2, Hidden Electric has a lot of evasion. It evades everything high pretty much. So here. Bagoosh. So if anyone tries to jab check you on this shit... Oh, I wanted him to block 2 hits. But it's gonna look the same. Basically, so that's your don't even try it, buddy. Don't try to do a throw. Don't try to do a jab. I'll blow you up. And then someone might get smart and say like, you know what? I'm gonna do a dick jab, right? Hell Axle. Upward 3-4 is available from Wind God Kame. So that's not gonna work either. You have a button to beat that as well. So again, you have... options here to beat the most common ways of retaliating, you know. People are gonna wanna check you with dick jabs or jab. So pay attention to what your opponent is doing. If he's doing nothing at all, he's afraid, you have a homing throw here. And this is unbreakable. Just unbreakable, right? So if someone's just standing there, that's a great option. Or if they sidestep, this throw is homing. So that's very nice and unbreakable and gives you a +7. If you think we're gonna mash or step, you also have this this power crush, right? That will wall splat and knock down a normal hit. It's a very nice option to have a power crush. Note that they might try and do a throw to beat your power crush, but again, Wind God Kame, Hidden Electric will fuck them up, as I demonstrated previously. Do remember that that is -10. You also have a low from Wind God Kame, but it's -4, so you lose momentum. So as soon as this hit, don't press anything. If you do anything, we're gonna blow you up on counter hit. It is kind of nice on counter hit though. Gives you a +12, super nice. And on block it's -14. I'm gonna try and demonstrate this. -14, so at least it's not launch punishable. But it's very steppable. Most of these options are super steppable, if not all of them. So that's why this move is so important. If you don't do anything or you try to sidestep, you gotta use that throw. But I just want to stress that it's as soon as this connects on block, it's a mind game. Right? You have to pay attention to what we're doing and use these options accordingly. The other stance is the coolest stance in the game, and this is the Raijin Stance. And this one you'll see more seldom. Sidestep 2, hold forward is a nice way of going into this stance. It's just a single hit. But you'll go in at -5 on block. But still, it's a nice way of going into it. But the most often you'll see the stance is after you do a heat smash. Like this, right? On block, and you take +10, and now it's mix-up time. I forgot to mention the 4th state of a Rashomon. I'm gonna do that now. But that's another way of going into this stance, which is very powerful. So again, you hold back 2, never stop holding, and you get the fully charged Rashomon. Again, this is 39 frames with no tracking, so it's one hell of a commitment. But you hold forward, and now he transitions into Raijin, Thunder God Stance. And on hit here, Hidden Thunder God Fist will combo for 60 damage. And again, if this is blocked, Raijin Stance +8. +8. You almost have the exact same effect as when you do your heat smash. And then you get +10. So it's 2 frames worse. But 2 frames might not sound a lot, but that's the difference. Your opponent being able to counter you with a Rage Art, for example. They can Rage Art your mix-up. When you do this heat smash transition, the guard break, which you saw in the trailer, will beat a Rage Art. So those 2 frames do account for a lot. But I just want to say that Raijin Stance, sidestep 2, hold forward, is good. Fully charged Rashomon is good. We get a chip into +8, super nice. But the one you'll use the most is heat smash on block into this mix-up. So what can we do here in Raijin Stance? Well, we have the all-powerful guard break. This is a homing high, very fast at 17 frames. That will launch a normal hit, as you just saw. But most importantly, this is again the situation where you will use this the most. It's at the wall here. On block, bagoosh, right? This gives you +10 where they can't block, and of course what do? We do a flash punch. That is guaranteed, and we get scale damage, but still 40 is super good here. So that's arguably the scariest option. It's just that guard break. And what you'll mix that up with, if you want to go with a super fast mid, is just hidden Thunder God Fist, but also he ducks down, he evades quite a bit, and it's just 1 million damage, right? 1 million damage. Do note, however, that one is -11 on block. I think I can get you to block this, Mr. Shaolong. There we go, -11, so it's unsafe. If you want a safe mid, albeit slower, but still very good, is this Axe Kick. So this is Thunder God Stance 3. This is safe on block at -6, I think. No, -7. So you're safe. This is super nice to have here. If this knocks down, your opponent is in a scary situation, because if he tries to get back to his feet anyway, even quick stand, Iron Hand is guaranteed. Even on quick stand. Like, if he tries to stand up in any way, any shape or form, Iron Hand can land, and it's a lot of damage. If he chooses to stay on the ground, to beat that, you can of course stomp his ass. So it's a powerful mix-up here. And then you can Hell Sweep from Raijin Stance by pressing 4, and this includes all of the Hell Sweep mix-ups, right? You can do the Hell Sweep mix-ups. Nice to have. And of course, if they try and do any Power Crush shenanigans, like say, they don't have time to Power Crush anyway, if you do this. But let's say you go into it with this fully charged Rashomon on block. They try to Power Crush. Oh my god, I can't input 1+3. This throw right fucks up the Power Crush. And it's an unbreakable broken toy that does 42 damage if he slams them into a wall. If there's no wall, it does 30 damage, but it's very powerful. So unbreakable throw here. Another thing with the throws is that if I'm in heat and I get Wind God Kame throw, I will transition at +8 into Raijin Stance. That is super nice. But that's heat only, so very strong. But in heat, what we try to do is land the Heat Smash. The Heat Smash is very strong. He has 2 Heat Smashes, Guillotine and Punch Flurry. Note that your Heat Smash is insanely balanced. It's not like other characters where it's like almost pseudo-homing infinite reach button. Your Heat Smash has limited reach, and it has no tracking. Not a single pixel to either side. So with everything else with Heihachi, you need to lock them down with small Tekken, make sure they respect you, and now you apply it. And that's a huge win. On hit, of course, I'm gonna demonstrate, but even on block, we talked about this mix-up, +10, and now, you know, I apply a mix-up on you, and it's very powerful. But on hit, if there is no wall, you'll do the normal one, 2+3, and this is Guillotine. This will break a floor. It's a hard floor break. If there's a breakable floor, you will always break the floor into a combo, into a huge combo with Heihachi. But if there's no breakable floor, no problem. We get super nice Oki. If we try and stand up in any shape or form, just like Raijin Stance Axe Kick, Iron Hand will hit. You know. So they have to stay on the ground, and you can run in and try and apply something, you know, hit them grounded, like any way you want. If there is a wall nearby, you already know what I'm going to do. I'm going to do the second Heat Smash, Punch Flurry. I hold forward, and we wall splat from pretty fucking far away, and we get huge damage, right? Half-life. Also in heat, up forward 4 gets a follow-up into up forward 4-1, which is one of the coolest attacks in the game, in my opinion. Does 1 million damage at the wall. You're again looking at like half-life. You're looking at like half-life. And on block, this is +2 on block. And does a ton of chip. So it's still risky, but it's much better, especially at the wall when you're in heat, so it's worth doing. Just like his son, he has a Shikue style reversal armored attack in Damak Matches 2. Did you see it wall splat from like 1.5 meters away? It's pretty spectacular. So wall splats just like Shikue. Will bound just like Shikue. Will hit grounded just like Shikue. Shikue is -9 on block. This one is neutral, meaning you both recover at the same time. which is pretty fucking crazy. But again, this is an armor attack. If they press into you, this will fucking blow them up from far away. Do note, however, that it's a little bit slow in startup at 30 frames, and it will always be beaten by throws or low attack. You're always vulnerable to this shit, right? Just like any armored attack or like Power Crush. But it's still a very nice option to have. And then in heat, suddenly, like Rao Thrust is a move I don't like due to it's not like a demon Poe and like huge reach. It has very limited reach. It has no tracking whatsoever. And I don't like using a heat engager, as I told you. I save my heat burst. But when I am in heat, I like this move, because now it's a launcher if I dash out of it. It's +5 if I dash out of it. And you know, it's a very fast mid launcher. So I'll wave to realign, then kablam, and I take a combo. It's I think it's a good option when you're in heat. Also worth noting that at -12, you can get this in heat. So when you're in heat, you can fully launch from Chrome Dome, or if you are Ultimate Heihachi, obviously, which we're gonna get into. But yeah, heat with Heihachi, it's mostly heat smash, to be honest, or getting more chip or heal from your Estus attacks. And now I want to talk about ultimate form. So every single round you have to collect a token, no matter what, by popping heat, heat burst. Don't do heat engager, but that's just my opinion. So just make sure to do this every round. And then by round 3, you should be able to go into Ultimate Heihachi. A lot of Heihachi save this from the final round. I try to be a bit unpredictable with it, because at the final round, like, everyone knows you're gonna use this, and they're gonna go fucking monkey on your ass. Like, they're just gonna mash anything to stop you from transforming. You gotta understand, like, Ultimate Heihachi, while you turn into a kind of a busted character, there's a lot of characters in this game, like Yoshi, Xiaoyu, even Kazuya, where as soon as they pop heat, they're almost as strong as you are when you're Ultimate Heihachi. That's just a fact of life. Like, it's a very well-balanced game, but there are characters that sort of match you every round as soon as they pop heat, because their heat is so monstrous. The thing is, like, when you transform, it is 17 frames of startup where you can get counter hit. Or if that, you know, whiffs, you're at this range when you do it, they can like whiff punish you, because it's kind of a slow recovery and they can kill you. So be very careful about this. The way I use ultimate, or this transformation into Ultimate Heihachi, is that I certainly do not start ready, fight. I don't do that anymore, because so many times I get counter hit launched out of it. I just block at round start, or I do a jab check like this, and if I see this connects, I add this, and then boom, I transform. Or I just block because I don't like pressing in round start anyway. It feels like a lottery with latency, who's gonna get hit. You know, sometimes I start with this and I get hop kicked, and I'm just like, why do I ever press at round start? So preferably just block, wait a bit, see if you can get them to respect you with checks, and now pop it up close and you get the stun effect for +2. If you're too far away, you can get killed on whiff, but if you're close, if it hits, boom, +21. If it's blocked, +2. So try to, you know, be careful how you transform. But once you have a transformation, holy shit, you are very, very strong. You go from having like the worst fucking lows in the game to having a broken low, because suddenly you saw Hell Sweep doesn't stagger anymore on block. You're back to Tekken 2, baby. So this is safe. Woohoo! It's just safe. Unless they low parry. They can still low parry, but this is absurd. You do these mix-ups on them right on block, and it's pretty absurd. So Hell Sweep goes kind of giga busted. Your 1+2 is absurd. So that's Demon Breath. That's a 12 frame startup, but now gives a guaranteed Demon Uppercut for 58 damage without counter hit. Like, when this counter hits, which is easy to do with a 12 frame, 64 damage. And what are you risking? -10 on a 12 frame startup mid that hits very low. Like, you just stab someone quickly and just... And then we gotta wake up, because Demon Uppercut flips them. And we gotta wake up in your ultimate form Heihachi phase. Demon Uppercut turns into a goddamn projectile. Like, note this range. It turns into a projectile. Forward 3 goes from -3 on block to +1 and chips like crazy. You see that lightning strike? Oh my god, it's so cool. So if I jab here, it's my turn, right? Can't interrupt my jab. Yeah, kinda busted. Oh, Demon Uppercut. While it gets infinite reach, it is and it does more damage, it's still just as bad with tracking, and it's just as bad on block. So stick with forward 3, in my opinion. Keep it safe. And health sweep. Wind God Kame 2, the hidden one, hidden God Fist, is now -3 with pushback. Safe. Mid-launcher. Safe. Just linking this, it's pretty good. Safe. And it's the same with Raijin Stance 1, goes from -11 to -8 and does more damage. Your Flash Punch has additional damage and wall splats from 10 miles away. You wall splat from Italy to Africa. And not at that range. Oh my god, we need buffs. Wall splat. But you see, that's much further away than the normal one. Also with ultimate form, you get more recoverable health for free. Your opponent, any combo you do, you see how his health bar glows blue? No recoverable health. Normally, if someone combos you, you can go into heat and recover like, you know, half the damage they did. So this was a big nerf to combos in Tekken 8. But Ultimate Heihachi, every damage this fucker does is permanent. Do you see this? Permanent damage. It's just insane. And then of course, last but not least, Chrome Dome, this interaction, while standing to counter hit. Forward 4 on crouch. All of these now, you will launch. You will not take back 1-4. You will launch now with reverse twin pistons. Down for 2-1. So for example, is -12. Ultimate Heihachi launches you, right? Ultimate Heihachi launches you at -12. That is pretty crazy. I do realize now I missed 2 attacks that you can use in the neutral, but I don't feel are that important. But I thought of them when I did this. Like, at the wall, again, while sending to counter hit, Chrome Dome, forward 4 on crouch, you can always choose to do this for a wall splat. Instead of doing back 1-4, which I use in the neutral. Again, Masku Tech, right? Remember, very strong. At the wall, down for 4-1 will wall splat. It's a natural. 13 frame startup. Very delayable second hit. Only -12 on block. And second hit is actually a counter hit launcher. Pretty strong stuff. But I don't like this too much because down for 4 is so stubby. So I use instead back 1-4 because it has more reach. It has more reach. It's also a natural. Second hit is ultra delayable, and on counter it gives a guaranteed demon uppercut. But look at the delay. So delayable. I love this move. And it's -13 on block, which is not that bad, but it's a pretty nice neutral tool. And, you know, just back one itself is -9, safe, but there's the threat of a follow-up. Down for 4 is -6. In conclusion, like, you have crazy punishment. You move around. If your opponent whiffs anything, electric into 1 million damage. Make sure to maximize your damage. Do the strongest combos possible to really make it hurt. Be really careful in the neutral because, you know, back 4 on block, not that bad. -8, Heihachi stays there. But if it whiffs, he stumbles about like this. And again, you're like -100. You are dead. That's just a character in a nutshell. Like, you have to be very careful with your positioning and placing of these big swings. So small Tekken, unfortunately a bit nerfed, right? A bit stubby. -5, -5, -5. So play around with this stuff. Add a stance. Single health sweep is homing. Muso Tekken. Rashomon. Forward 4. Forward 3. Evasive demon uppercut. But be very careful in how you play. And then once you've landed your big combo, they have to wake up at the wall against your Heat Heihachi, and it can get really scary for them, right? With your Raijin Stance mix-ups there on block. And anytime you hit someone with an interaction, it's just so much damage. And you never need a wall, you know, to get that huge damage. Are you trying to wake up? Kablam. Fuck you. Or you know, you don't have a wall, but you got the back 4 counter hit. Even if you don't have a wall, it's so much damage. Oh, sorry, I'm not allowed to tailspin multiple times. You're not allowed to tailspin 3 times. So like here, into Iron Hand, into a perfect Omen, and it's 1,000,000 damage. Oh, I didn't mention Omen. Omen is just a combo ender. Like here, you can Omen. This is where you're going to use it. While sending 1 into Iron Hand, while sending 1 into Omen is max damage. There is Thunder God Fist, and then there's Electric Thunder God Fist, which is done like on electric, and then Perfect Omen is a perfect electric input. Forward neutral, down for the 1, or skip neutral, forward down, down for the 1, just frame, and it does 38 damage. And this is your most powerful combo ender if you heat dash out of something. Too close to the wall. There. Oh god, I mean you can end with Omen there for 1,000,000 damage. You want to practice that because otherwise you're doing like Stomp, which is less damage. You know, always do the biggest combos, wall or no wall. Let's just round out this video with the punishment. 1-1-2, 10 frame wall splat. 12 frame, I go for this, right? Into Moscow Tech. If there's a wall, this will wall splat. You can do Iron Hand here for a heat engager. I don't recommend that. If you're in heat, I showed you before, you get a full launch. If you're Ultimate Heihachi, you get a full launch. You know this. At 13 frames, you can theoretically perfect electric. Easy mode, 15 frame punish for rage art, etc. is your wall combo. To get the blue spark on this one, you don't even have to do core circle forward 1. So press down forward 3, 1+2. As soon as you've pressed down forward 3, 1+2, press tap down, and then on the third punch, tap forward 1. So don't do a core circle forward, down, and then forward 1 on the third punch, and you should get this every single time. It's quite easy once you get the timing down. While setting punishment at 11 frames, Tsunami, hold down into Wind God Kamei, +6, you get a pretty disgusting mix-up. If they disrespect you, Hidden Electric will fuck them up. If you are 13, while sending 1 into Iron Hand, or while sending 1 into Omen, that's the max damage at 47. If they are -15, you have a long range, heavy damage launcher in full crouch down for 2. It's very strong. If I can execute, like so. And it just hurts a ton, right? It just hurts a fuck ton. So punishment very strong, and for whiff punish, electric of course. So Old Man is a beast. That is everything I wanted to present to you in this guide, and we've now done 1 hour, which I think is decent enough for a character guide. I really hope you enjoyed it. I really hope you learned something here. I absolutely love this character. If you do too, I'm really happy if you also like him. And I hope you have a great day. Thanks for listening to me today, and yeah, take care.